Hello and welcome to 10 Things, the channel where you learn 10 new things that you didn't already know. Hopefully. Number 1. Wilhelm Gustloff. On March 24th, 1938, the German ship Wilhelm Gustloff, named after a Nazi, took off on its maiden voyage. It was originally meant to be a cruise ship for German workers who enjoyed leisurely activities. Each room aboard the ship was identical, making it a ship without class as it was advertised. Over the years, the ship was repurposed a few times as a hospital, a training headquarters and a polling station. In 1945, the Soviets moved further east, prompting the evacuation of 2 million German soldiers. Around 10,000 of those men were put to the Gustloff to flee back to Germany. Along the journey, a Soviet submarine torpedoed the ship on January 30th. Since most of the lifesavers were frozen on deck and most of the experienced soldiers were killed in the initial blast, 9,000 people died. It is considered to be the deadliest shipwreck in history. Number 2. MV Dona Paz. Ferries were an important part of the development of Southeast Asia during the late 1900s. MV Dona Paz was one of those important ferries that ushered civilians around the region, but it met a bitter end. On December 20th, 1987, the ship left the Philippine Islands and headed towards its destination of Manila. Along the way, the ship collided with an oil tanker that was carrying 8,000 barrels of explosives. The MV Dona Paz was instantly set ablaze and eventually exploded, sending passengers into the boiling, fiery waters below. Although ship documents show only 1,500 passengers on board, other evidence says there was around about 5,000 on board. Of that number, only 24 survived the incident, becoming the deadliest civilian shipping disaster in history. Number 3. RMS Lancastria. The RMS Lancastria was a British ocean liner owned by the Cunard Line. In April 1940, she was reconstructed as a troop ship, and under the command of Captain Rudolph Sharp, she was sent off in the aid of the evacuation of the British troops and citizens from France. The ship left the city of Liverpool on the 14th of June 1940 and anchored near the town of St Nazaire on June 16th. By the following day, the Lancastria took between 4,000 and 9,000 refugees on board, including British citizens, soldiers and other military officials. At around 4 PM, a German warplane bombed the ship, causing it to capsize and sink within 20 minutes. More than 1,400 tons of fuel leaked into the water and partly caught fire. While there were 2,477 survivors, it is difficult to determine the exact number of deaths, as loading the ship was hectic and many passengers boarded off the record. Estimates show that anywhere between 4,000 and 6,500 passengers died in the attack. Number 4. SS Kyangja. In the 1940s, China was in the midst of a civil war, setting itself up for one of the deadliest shipwrecks in the region. In December 1948, a steamship named SS Kyangja was placed with thousands of refugees from the Civil War. Although the ship was legally only supposed to hold 1,186 passengers, the manifest listed 2,150 and some suspect even more were aboard. Some believe the ship hit a mine that was left over from World War II and exploded. The ship quickly sunk in the Hungapu River, killing close to 4,000 people. Number 5. Yamato battleship. Built in 1941, the Yamato was a Japanese battleship that served in the Second World War. On 7th of April 1945, about 300 kilometers south of the Japanese island Kyushu, the Yamato was bombed and hit by US carrier-based aircraft, causing it to capsize. The capsizing caused the ammunition on board to explode, tearing the ship in two. After 13 torpedo hits and 8 heavy bombing hits, the ship finally sank with the loss of 2,498 lives. The light cruiser Yahagi and 4 destroyer escorts were also sunk in the same attack, killing over 1,000 additional crew members. Number 6. Le Jula. On 26th of September 2002, the Jula, a ferry ship, set out through the Gambia River towards northern Senegal. The BBC reported that the ship was overcrowded, In fact, it had a maximum capacity of 550 passengers. It was later learned that there were over 700 people not on the passenger list, which was a common occurrence on that ferry. That day, the boat capsized and sunk to the bottom of the river, killing 1,863 people, many of them children heading to school. Number 7. Mont Blanc. During World War I, Halifax, a port city in Nova Scotia, Canada, acted as an important port for ships carrying supplies, troops and ammunition. On December 6, 1917, the Norwegian ship Imo left Halifax and collided with the Mont Blanc, a French ship that held explosives. Due to the collision, the Mont Blanc was pushed towards the shore, bringing spectators to the harbour pier, but the ship quickly set the waterfront ablaze and a few minutes later the ship exploded. The blast was so strong that it shattered windows up to 50 miles away. At the waterfront, 1,800 people died and a further 9,000 people were injured, with 1,600 homes destroyed. Number 8. SS Sultana. In 1865, the Civil War came to an end, ending years of bloodshed on American soil. During the war, Union soldiers were trapped in Confederate prisons, but at the end of the war, they were finally freed and sent home. Many boarded the steamboat Sultana on April 27, 1865, along with civilians. It's reported that the ship was carrying over 2,000 passengers, that's 6 times over its legal capacity. As the steamboat headed north along the Mississippi River, the ship exploded in the middle of the night and burned until morning. Over the course of the night, 1,600 people lost their lives to the flames and burning water. Although there is no proof, some believe the Confederate Army blew up this ship, thinking the war was not yet over. If true, the incident was one of the deadliest terror attacks on US soil. Number 9. RMS Titanic. Perhaps the most famous maritime disaster in history, the sinking of the RMS Titanic has become immortalised in the popular imagination thanks to the James Cameron 1998 film Titanic. The largest ship in the world at the time, she had an estimated 2,224 passengers on board when she struck an iceberg on the night of 14th of April 1912, which caused significant damage to the ship's hull. A lack of lifeboats combined with a rapid sinking time, chaotic evacuation procedure and icy Atlantic waters saw approximately 1,500 people perish. Survival rates from the sinking of the Titanic were particularly notable because of the way they were skewed by firstly gender and secondly class. 97% of first class women survived compared to just 46% of third class women and 33% of first class men. Number 10. Toya Maru. The Toya Maru was launched on November 21st, 1947. She was 118 metres long and 15 metres high with a gross registered tonnage of 3,898. As early as 1950, the ship was fitted with radar equipment, becoming one of the first Japanese sea liners to be so equipped. She was even used by the Emperor the month before she sank. The Toya Maru was said to have sank during a typhoon, later known locally as the Toya Maru Typhoon. 1,153 people were said to be aboard, but the exact death toll has never been confirmed. Well, there you have it. 10 things you didn't know. Or maybe you did. Either way, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, maybe even subscribe. See ya!